Hey guys, we'll see how this goes. If it goes well, I'm gonna post another tutorial later, but this is a V-stitch neckerchief or cowl, whatever you want to call it, with a picot edging. And I had a couple people ask me how I made it, so I'm gonna try to do a tutorial on it. If this is uploaded, then obviously it worked out. But 1 second and I'll show you the materials you'll need. This is a 5mm H hook, which I custom make these handles. Comment below or follow my Instagram if you're interested in one. But anyways, other than that, you just need an H 5mm hook. And I would say 3.5 to 5 ounces, if that, of worsted weight yarn. You can use any hook you want, any yarn you want, as long as the two are compatible. It will affect your sizing a little bit, so you could either just do less or more rows, but just for this exact pattern, that's all you'll need. Okay, so the whole world decided to come outside and be loud, so hopefully you can't hear it, but you're gonna start with a magic loop, chain 4, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. And I will explain why you do that. Okay. So for your beginning row, this is made exactly the same way that a granny cowl is made. Instead of doing 3 double crochet or 4 double crochet and increasing in the center, same way you would with that one, we're going to do a V-stitch. And a V-stitch is a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So if you've ever made anything with a granny square or granny cowl, then you kind of understand already, but you're always going to start with a chain 4. That's going to be your double crochet, chain 1. On both sides, you always want to end with that because that's where one of your increases will go. You'll have a V-stitch, a chain 2 space in the center, which is where you'll increase as well. Another V-stitch, chain 1, double crochet. So every single row when you begin, you're going to chain 4, turn your work, you're going to do a V-stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. In between every V-stitch, chain 1. Now you're in the center where your chain 2 space is. So you're going to do a V-stitch, chain 2, and work another V-stitch in that same space, followed by a chain 1. Now this is where I'm saying you want to make sure you do the same thing every time, because this is also an increase, technically. So you're going to do a V-stitch, a chain 1, and a double crochet in there, because you want to mirror what you did on this side here. Okay, so chain 4, V-stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, followed by chain 1. And if I haven't been clear enough before, you're V-stitching in the chain 1 spaces in between the V-stitch. You're not V-stitching in the actual stitch. So it's like a granny square where on your chain spaces in between your V-stitches, that's where you're putting your stitch. So V-stitch again, chain 1. Now I'm back up to my chain 2 space in the center, so we're going to work an increase. So we're going to do a V-stitch, chain 2, and a V-stitch. Chain 1. Here's my 2 V-stitches, so I'm going in the center of it. And V-stitching. And chain 1. And we're ending the same way we began, so we're going to do a V-stitch, a chain 1, and a double crochet. And your work should start to look like this. You want to continue doing the same process, chain 4, V-stitch in this first space, chain 1, V-stitch in your next chain 1 space, chain 1, V-stitch again. Every time you get to the center, you work a V-stitch, chain 2, and a V-stitch. Just make sure every time you end in this space here, you work a V-stitch, a chain 1, and a double crochet. Continue doing this until you get 13 rows if you're going to follow my pattern exactly, and I'll show you what to do after that. Alright, I'm going to keep this on a smaller scale. I only did 5 rows because the camera angle that I have, I can't really fully show. So let's say you have 13 rows, which are easy to count if you look at these holes in the center. You're going to join your work with this double crochet area here with a slip stitch and chain 3. And you're looking at it essentially from the back. Yours will be bigger, but it looks pretty much the same. So, very simple. You have these loops here up at the top all the way around. All I'm going to do is chain 1 to get myself started. And in every single one of these loops, I'm going to work a V-stitch. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, followed by a chain 1 in between each one. And that's it for the neck portion. Just V-stitch in every space with a chain 1 after. And when we get all the way around, I will show you how to do the picot edging. Okay, I've made it all the way around. We have a V-stitch right here, a double crochet, chain 1 right here. I'm going to slip stitch into that if my crochet hook will work properly. Chain 1, single crochet in that same space, and now we're going to work our picot stitches in the middle of every V-stitch we did. And this is how I do them. There's a million ways to do it, so you can do it whatever way you want to. But you're just going to single crochet in between your V-stitch, chain 3, slip stitch into the top and side loop of the single crochet and end with another single crochet in there. In your chain one space in between your V stitches, you're just going to single crochet, and that's what it should look like, something like that. So single crochet, chain 3, top and side loop, we're going to slip stitch, single crochet again in the same spot, and single crochet in between your V stitches, and you'll get something like this. I'm going to do one more with you because my dog is trying to push me out of the way. Single crochet in the center of your V stitch, chain 3, through the top and side loop of that single crochet we're going to slip stitch and single crochet in the same space, and then single crochet in your chain 1 space. So work all the way around the top, and I'll show you how to get down to the sides here without having to cut your yarn. So just give me 1 second. Okay, this final part is extremely easy. You're just going to slip stitch into your single crochet, turn it on its side here, slip stitch into that chain 3 that you started with in the very beginning. I slip stitch into it twice. Doesn't matter how much you do it as long as you get down here. Now you're looking at going all the way around your work here. Literally the same thing I've been explaining the entire time. So in your chain 1 spaces, you're just going to single crochet. In the center of your V stitches, single crochet, chain 3, slip stitch into the the top and the side loop, single crochet in the same space. You're at your chain 1 space, so you're going to single crochet. Now you've come to a V stitch again, picot stitch, single crochet, chain 3, slip stitch, single crochet. Now you're at a chain 1 space, single crochet. So you're going to do that all the way around the trim of your work. When you get to the center here, this is where it's different. Chain 1 space, single crochet, V stitch, picot, chain 2 space, picot, V stitch, picot. So instead of doing just a single crochet here like you have been throughout the pattern, since this is a chain 2 space and this is the center of your work, I did an extra picot stitch right there just because I think it looks nice. So give me 1 second, I'm going to show you the completed piece again so you can see what yours should look like. Okay, so if I've done a halfway decent job explaining this, this is what yours should look like. This is what I was saying with the center here. This is the chain 2 space in the center. I just worked an extra picot. This is what your back will look like. Again, you can increase the amount of rows that you do. It will make it wider, so you might want to consider that. You can use a different size hook. You can do anything you want. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. And I hope you enjoyed the tutorial.